Genoa is a vast sprawling city that sits in the Gulf of Genoa on the Ligurian Sea in the northwestern region of Italy. Say hello to it. Hi, welcome to my blog, your YouTube channel. Those feature places, events, and peoples. Who knows, you might be one of them. I'm Joseph Saez. Join us. With a current central population of 588,000 and a greater metropolitan population of 1.5 million. Genoa is the sixth largest city in the country and also one of the most important economic centers. A staple of the city is its immense fort and shipyards that have been present since the 19th century. As with many regions in Italy, Genoa has been inhabited by humans for thousands of years, and its natural harbor was used by both the Romans and Etruscans. Genoa had a close association with the Holy Roman Empire and was known for the ferocious fleet of sailors and warriors during the Middle Ages. In later periods, the city saw a decline due to a shifting trade routes and was then annexed as part of the Napoleonic Empire. In modern time, it serves once again as an important part of Italy. Due to the city's illustrious history, Genoa has hosts of welcoming piazzas, decorative villas, and fantastic churches. It offers a variety of first-class tourist attractions together with opportunities for shopping and fine dining. Welcome to Genoa. Italy's largest seaport is indefatigably contradictory, full at once of grandeur, its color, sparkling light and deep shade. It's a gateway to the Riviera for many travelers today, but a weighty architectural heritage speaks of its former glory. The most serene Republic of Genoa ruled over the Mediterranean waves during the 12th to the 13th centuries, and history feels alive in Genoa. No more is this true than its extensive old city, an often confronting reminder of pre-modern life with its twisting maze of garrucci or narrow streets, largely intact. Emerged blinking from this stringly dark heart to by a Garibaldi and the splendid Enlightenment era gold leaf halls of the UNESCO-listed Palazzi dei Rolli. Genoa is famous for having once been the birthplace of Cristopher Columbus and more recently for the cruise and tourist industry. Genoa is the most important Italian fort. The ancient Genoese coins portray one of the principal characteristics of Genoa, the city as the gateway to the sea. Genoa is a rich city in contrast and full of history. It's worth a visit. It is a real Italian town not touched by the mass tourism. This city has preserved its real and deep essence. What does the name Genoa mean? Meaning and history. From the name of the Italian city of Genoa, Genoa comes from Genoa, the name of an ancient city of the Ligurians. Its name is probably Ligurian, meaning knee, from ancient Greek goni, knee. Example is Engel, from its geographical position, thus akin to the name of Geneva. Located about 75 miles or 120 kilometers south of Milan on the Gulf of Genoa, the city occupies a narrow coastal plain and the western slope of the Apennine Range. The city has a mild Mediterranean climate. Shipbuilding is the major industry. Other industries produce petroleum, textile, iron and steel, locomotives, paper, sugar, cement, chemical, fertilizers, and electrical, railway, and marine equipment. Genoa also is a major center for finance and commerce. The port of Genoa leads all other Italian ports in volume of passenger and freight traffic and is the main source of city income. It handles imports chiefly of coal, crude oil, and grain, and export mainly of cotton and textile, olive oil, and wine. Genoa was the birthplace of Cristopher Columbus, dated 1441, who embodied the active maritime tradition of the city. It is noted for its many examples of medieval, Renaissance, Baroque, and Gothic architecture. The Ducal Palace, San Lorenzo Cathedral, Church of San Mateo, and Palazzo San Giorgio are some of the most important historical monuments. The Palazzo Bianco and the Palazzo Rosso are the two largest picture galleries. Edoardo Chiasseni Museum of Oriental Art and the Cathedral Treasury have extensive medieval collection. The Strade Nuove, now Via Garibaldi, and the Palazzi de' Rolli, the first European example of an urban development project with a unitary framework, were designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2006. The University of Genoa, founded dated 1471, is an important genre of higher learning in northern Italy. The city has several commercial colleges and a school of navigation. Genoa is linked with the major cities of Italy, France, and Switzerland by railway and highways. Its ports serve as the chief outlet for the agricultural and industrial products of northern Italy and much of Europe, rather Central Europe. Cristoforo Colombo International Airport, situated 4 miles 6.5 km west of the city, provides domestic and international flights. History. In ancient times, what probably began as a Ligurian village on the Sarzano hill overlooking the natural fort, today Molo Vecchio, prospered through contacts with the Etruscans and the Greeks. As a flourishing Roman municipium, it became a road junction, a military fort, and a market of Ligurians. After the fall of the Roman Empire, followed by invasions of Ostrogoths and Lombards, Genoa long existed in comparative obscurity as a fishing and agrarian century with little trade. By the 10th century, however, the general demographic and economic upswing of Europe brought fresh opportunity and enabled the Genoese to answer the challenge of Muslim raids vigorously. A Fatimid fleet stormed and sacked the town, dated 934 or 935, but the Genoese raised their walls anew and counterattacked under the leadership of their bishop and of the local viscounts. Soon, Genoese merchant ships were trading briskly in the western Mediterranean and calling at Palestinian seaports. Understand, Venice, Rome, Milan, and Florence are of course the most known and admired towns in Italy. When moving to northwestern Italy, like Milan, Turin, it is nevertheless absolutely worth staying for a couple of days or a weekend in Genoa. The city is a good base to explore the Italian Riviera and world-famous places like Portofino and the Cinque Terre. Paolo Coelho wrote, "Among the marvels of Italy, it will take some digging to find the beauties of Genova, but it is worth visiting it." I remember walking there with a friend when she suddenly said, "Let's stop for a bit. I can stand this orange color." The fact is, the more you stay, the more you will enjoy and appreciate the town. A place where you discover daily new surprises, even if you stay for years. The city may be less known by a major tourist operator, but its splendor is often hidden inside the narrow street of the historical center called Vicoli. Genoa is a sort of decayed glorious port town, whose decay, however, is what makes it is so interesting and pretty. The facades of grand palaces are hidden in scruffy yet enticing alleyways, and there are really curious threats for anyone in virtually every alley. The city is your typical Italian one, quite sunny during summer, with Mediterranean-looking houses topped by a grey slate roofs, filled to the brim with outdoor cafes and bars, with a lots of tiny and quirky alleyways, elegant designer shop and restaurant. Today, also the old port has been renovated and currently contains some funky avant-garde modern architecture, a delightful marina, and several seaside bars and shops. Climate. Genoa has a classic Mediterranean climate that is heavily influenced by the sea, leading to a warmer winters and cooler summers than city on the other side of the Ligurian mountains and the Po Valley. Genoa is also one of the rainiest cities in Italy. Winter hours cool with temperature usually ranging from 6 degrees Celsius in 43 Fahrenheit and 20 Celsius in 54 Fahrenheit and rainy. The city has 3 nights with below freezing temperatures, but extensive cold periods are rare. The record low is 8 degrees Celsius, 18 Fahrenheit, recorded recently in February 2012. Summer is the tourist season of Genoa, but it isn't as hot as in other Italian cities. Summer are in fact cooler even than those of cities in the Italian Alps like Trento and Bolzano. Temperatures don't frequently surpass 30 degrees Celsius or 86 Fahrenheit. The average is 8 days each year, and nights usually stay around 20 degrees Celsius or 68 in Fahrenheit. Hot waves don't really affect Genoa, but there might be 1 or 2 days per year when the mercury rises above 32 degrees Celsius and 90 Fahrenheit. The record high is 38.5 degrees Celsius or 101 Fahrenheit, and it was recorded in 2012. Via Garibaldi, a UNESCO-listed World Heritage Site. The Via Garibaldi is one of the most important streets in Genoa and is famous for its large amount of palace and fine architecture. Notable buildings include the Palazzo Bianco, the Palazzo Rosso, the Palazzo Doria Tursi, the Palazzo Lomolino, and the Palazzo Pantaleo. These narrow streets provides a staggering amount of fantastic architecture, and the most notable building is possible the Palazzo Rosso, which features a bright red-orange facades. 3 of these palaces are open to the public. Genoa Cathedral, more commonly known as Genoa Cathedral. The Church of San Lorenzo is a fantastic building and is often overlooked. The architecture is reminiscent of Florence Cathedral and features a similar striped marble and stone from facades. The colors are fantastic with greens, pinks, blacks, and whites. Created in 1118, this church has stood for hundreds of years, and its interior is truly awe-inspiring. Inside, the ceiling is immensely decorated with frescoes and beautifully colored artwork. Furthermore, the pink marble columns frame the central altar perfectly. Furthermore, there is also some magnificent paintings, including the Martyrdom of Saint Lawrence by Lazzaro Tabaroni. Piazza de Ferrari, located in the center of the old town in the Molo district. The Piazza de Ferrari is one of the central points of Genoa and offers a myriad of different sights. The main feature of the piazza is the large ornate fountain. This fountain has a series of water jets that spray into a central basin and forms a lovely symmetrical shape and cascade of water. Surrounding the fountains are a number of important buildings, including the Palace of the Doges, the Carlo Felice Theatre, the Genoa Stock Exchange, and the Palace of the Duke of Galleria. Admire the different building and 19th century architecture, throw a coin into the fountain, or sight and watch the local go about their business. Alternatively, there are several small restaurants and cafes with outdoor setting to relax in. During my work, I stayed and visited Genoa. I had the chance to ride a gondola in the horizontal tunnel. Assessore Castello di Albertis Montegalleto. The Albertis Castle in Montegalleto Lip is a combined funicular and lip in Genoa, Italy. It connects via Balbi near Genova Piazza Principe railway station to Corso Dogali near Albertis Castle, home of the Museo della Cultura del Mondo or Museum of World Cultures. It is run by AMT Genova. History. The lip was built in 1929 by a private company, the Società Ligure per Impianto ed Esercizio Ascensori to connect the main railway station of Genoa with Montegalleto, a name now in disuse that indicated the area of the time subject to a large urban expansion. It rose some 70 meters in altitude, but to reach the two cabins that can seat 20 people, it was necessary to set up into the ground along a tunnel of about 300 meters. The lift was used frequently by local residents as it had a lower ticket price than of those local tram, bus and trolley between 1963 and 1965. The owner replaced the lift with more modern and fast replacement. At the end of the 1960s, the number of users experienced a gradual reduction due to the introduction of the unified tariff in the Genoa public transport, which made it less convenient the use of the lift. On February 1, 1976, it became part of the ATM system along with the Castellato Ponente lift. The lifts remained in service until 1995 when the 30-year useful life expired. The lifts were closed. The current system. AMT decided not to renew the facility in the previous configuration as the need to travel the long pedestrian tunnel would have been unattractive to users. A preliminary design was created by engineer Michel Montanari of AMT, which involved the construction of a funicular to connect to the lifts. Through a tender, the works were assigned to a consortium led by Forma, Italy. The initial stage started with preparation of the detailed design. The project was presented in January 2001 to the Italian Minister of Transport for the necessary permits, which were granted on 14 November of the same year. Work began in September 2002 and ended in June 2004. After a period of testing the lift, it was inaugurated and opened to the public on December 15, 2004. Castello di Alberti Castles. The Castello di Albertis or the Albertis Castle is a historical residence in Genoa, northwestern Italy. It was the home of sea captain Enrico Alberto di Albertis and was donated to the city of Genoa on his death in 1932. It currently houses the Museo della Cultura del Mondo, or Museum of World Culture, inaugurated in 2004. De Albertis designed the castle in the style of an architectural collage with a Gothic revival appearance inspired by Palace in Florence and Castle of Aosta Valley. Erected between 1886 and 1892, under the supervision of Gothic revivalist Alfredo di Andrade. The castle is located on the site of a 13th century fortified area which has been reinforced in the 16th century. Alberto not only based his design on the city foundation, he incorporated and preserved the foundation of the bastion and one of the turrets. Inaugurated for the celebration of 400 years of Columbus' discovery of America, it was the first villa castle built in Genoa. From top of the hill of Monte Galeto or Monte Galato, one of the hills in the district of Castellato, the castle dominates Genoa with a view of Liguarian Sea. Collections. The museum includes ethnographic and archaeological findings collected by both Enrico and Luigi Maria de Albertis during their trips to Africa, America, from Canada to Tierra del Fuego, New Guinea, and Oceania. There is a large number of weapons from Sudan and the Zambezi area, Chinese spears and European halberds. There are several exemplars of Canadian and American Plains indigenous people, made in buffalo and deer leather and covered by porcupine thorns. Also findings belonging to the Maya civilization from Honduras are present. It also exhibits models of ships and yachts, nautical instruments, photographs, and the volume of D. Alberti's personal library. A separate section dedicated to music, the Museo della Musica del Popoli, or Museum of People's Music, exhibits musical instruments from the whole world. Biography. Born at Boltri, now part of Genoa, D. Albertis enlisted in the Royal Italian Navy and took part in the Battle of Lissa during 1866. Later he served on the battleships Ancona and Formidabile. Later, he moved to the Merchant Navy and was the commander of Emilia, the lead ship of the first Italian convoy in the Suez Canal. Starting from 1874, he dedicated his life to yachting. After founding the first Italian Yachts Club in 1879, he recreated Cristopher Columbus' journey to San Salvador by sailing two canoes, the Violante and the Corsaro. Using nautical instruments, he had a handcrafted model on the ones used by Columbus. In addition, De Albertis traveled around the world 3 times, circumnavigated Africa once, and carried out archaeological digs with Arturo Isel. During World War I, he patrolled as a volunteer in Tihenian Sea, receiving the Merit Cross. De Albertis personally designed the Castello de Albertis, his residence in Genoa, where he showed his personal collection, including, among the others, weapons from his trips to Malaysia, Australia, Turkey, America. Some rooms were in typical yachts design. De Albertis died in Genoa in 1932. His castle and collections were donated to the city of Genoa, who turned them into the Museum of World Cultures. Starting from 1874, he dedicated his life to yachting. After founding the first Italian Yachts Club in 1879, he recreated Cristopher Columbus' journey to Salvador by sailing two cutters, the
più leggero del crema. Non mi era mai capitato di avere una roba del genere. Carino. L'ascensore treno.
During my last few days, I stayed and visited Genoa. I had the chance to meet new Filipino couples and new friends. Mr. and Mrs. T invited me to their home during the birthday celebration of their relatives. I met a Filipino priest that was assigned in the local parish in the Genoa community. Norwin T showed the vegetable planted inside their compound. There is peach, apricots, prunes, olive, potato, cabbage, and eggplant. Inside the compound, there is a local made oven for pizza. I had a chance to rest and refresh during my day off and appreciate the view of the garden.
Kaya yung mga tao rito sa Genoa, sabihin sa akin, di ba expire ka?
Pare ka. Parang si Banjit na.
Free on diabetes, free.
Ha? naman na dihang diabetes.
Siguro na lagi. Totoo.
Sobra.
Nagjo-duty ako sa umaga sa hotel. Ano, yung kaya
Pasok na, wala.
Meron ako pasatura.
Kuya,
pistachio yan, yung flavor niya.
Titignan ko rin si Padre. At si
Prawns to.
Kung gusto mong kumain, kuha ka lang. Kung gusto mong magdala, masarap yan. Ito peach.
Peach.
Mm.
Oh, malawak pala rito.
Ito naman apricot.
Apricot.
Apricot ito. Wala nang bunga. Ubus na. Wala na. Tapos ito, ibang klaseng prawns din to. Ito siya. Nakita mo yung ahas dun sa baba?
Oh, dito galing.
Dito yung galing.
Oh, ang tapang.
Oh, kita mo. Ito, ibang klaseng prawns din to. Tingnan mo.
Dilaw.
Dilaw.
Oh.
Masarap to. Kung gusto mong tumikim, gasan mo lang
Oo.
ng konti. Walang mga, ang masarap dito, walang mga insecticide at saka ano.
Mm.
Dito, ano ka?
Ayun palang daan. Ha?
Olive to.
Olive.
Ayan
Oh.
mo, may bunga.
Ah, ito
May
pala
bunga
yung
pala.
nagawang ano.
Yan, may bunga na oh.
Oil and ano,
Oo,
iba-iba.
ano yan. Ito patatas.
Oh.
Mga pichay.
Pechay.
Ito kamatis, tingnan mo lahat yan.
Oo. Sipag din nila mag-asawa mag-ano. Mintan yun.
Ito, malalaki na yung bunga.
Palaya.
Yung palaya.
Oo, yun.
Ito
Gala.
naman yung isang klaseng ano, zucchini. Parang ano siya, yung upo sa atin.
Oo, mahaba.
Yan o. Ayan, meron pa palang bunga.
Ah, may talong. Yun.
Ayun, no,
Pwede nang ano yun yung talong.
Yan, talong.
Sa Pilipino may-ari nito.
Oh, yun sila.
Oo.
Dumating na ano. Yan yung port area.
Oh, kita pala rito. The next early morning, I'm ready to board the train going to Milan. Mr. Norwin is nice enough to assist me with my boarding. I'm going to Milan in order to meet just like my relatives and to purchase my ticket to the Philippines to spend my annual leave. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. T, for kind assistance and new friends from Genoa, Italy. I hope and pray I could go back to these wonderful places.